Ooh. Hello everybody. Enjoying a bit of tea with my brother's mug, by the way, so hopefully he won't mind. So what brings me here today? I would like to share with you how to set your goals, your outcomes, and how to achieve them. Because in many occasions, we're just thinking about, setting goals, setting my objectives, and then, how do I go about getting there? Making sure they happen. And I'm going to be using the SMART goals, or the SMART tool or framework, as some people may know it. And for those who don't know it, basically SMART, it's a business and marketing tool in which each one of the letters means something, and they create a process in which you set your goal or outcome. And the usual way, which is not what we're going to be looking at today, but I still would like to show you, the usual way is SMART. The S means specific. So your objective, your goal, outcome should be specific. Then the M for measurable. Then the A for achievable. And then we've got the R for realistic. And then finally the T for, well, not this T, the T for timed. So time bound. And as I said, it's not how we're going to be looking at it today, even though that's also a very helpful tool. I guess my point is that there are loads of things and loads of people speaking about how-tos. And that's all great, it's fantastic. And my approach to this is, I don't go around embracing everything, but I do go around picking the things that I believe will work for me. And that's how, obviously, I managed to always stay on this path, on this journey, in which I'm always improving, because when I see something that doesn't work, for me, I don't pay too much attention to it, and I actually try to find the angle in which it could potentially work. And if sometimes it doesn't work, that's fine. But I believe there's always something, a little bit, that we can learn, or we can take on board and help us improve, basically. So, going back to SMART, and then we're going to be looking at the SMART goals, setting in the way I like to apply them, and hopefully you will take something from it, and then how to go and achieve them. So, just an example. I was in a training session one day. Sorry guys, this tea is very nice. I was in a training session one day, as I said, and we were speaking about SMART goals. And I said, so what would you like to achieve, or what would you like to get? Have you got a goal set? And this lady said to me, I would like to buy a car. Oh, perfect, okay, fair enough. I said, do you know what car it is? No. Oh. Do you know how you're gonna get it? No. Right, okay. Well, and obviously she didn't know when she was gonna get it by. So we went through the SMART process. And the S, which is the specific, it can also be applied for short. I'm very practical, so I don't like having like long sentences. My objective is to create a new business by 2019 with such a revenue and this and this and that, in a very long objective that in the end I don't even remember. So I actually have to go back and just be looking at what it is that I've set for this year or for this month or whatever the timeline is. So make it short. So I said to her, okay, what is it then? Make it specific and also make it short. She said, well, I guess I would like a red car. And I asked her, okay, make it a bit more specific. What's the brand? So she gave me the brand details and the maker, of course, and perfect. So we got to a good start with that bit. And when I say specific, I would also like to consider, because if you make it too specific, you may be losing or missing opportunities around it. So I like to say, make it flexible, specific, or specific and flexible. So you can actually every now and then allow some other ideas, some other things to come in, so you can actually spot. If you're just going on a funnel vision, you may be missing great things that are happening around it, which could be distracting as well. So we'll be talking about it. But then by making it specific, making it short, it will give you focus. So that takes us, again, specific, make it short, and make it flexible as well. Then that takes us to the M for measurable. I fully agree, we should be able to measure what we're achieving, because that will help us understand whether we are on the right track or whether we're missing something. So what metrics are we going to set to get there? That's fantastic. So say this lady wanted to buy her car and then she needed to start saving money. So for instance, a good way to measure it is just saving money every month. So how much are you going to be saving, and by when are you going to have all of that money saved? So that would allow you to actually look at the amount of money you're saving every month, and then see, okay, I'm getting closer, I'm on the right track, as opposed to not saving any money, not doing anything, and then, well, you don't know how you're going to get there. And more important than just the measurable is that the objective, the goal, the outcome should be meaningful. And think about it. It should be meaningful. That makes sense. That makes sense to you. I'm very sorry about this tea. It's just the smell is lovely. So meaningful. How important it is. And also with the M, I like to say that obviously consider it more than one way to achieve it. Going back to being flexible on the specific, more than one way to achieve it. So you have got some measures, some metrics that you can actually look at and make sure you're getting there. And there's also the meaning, what makes sense to you. There has to be a meaning, a purpose behind it. That's what's going to give it power. And then make sure that there's more than one way to get there, more than one way to achieve it. Which takes us to the A, which is achievable. And of course, make sure it's something you would like to achieve, because otherwise, what's the point? But that you would like to achieve, not somebody else would like to achieve. Your thing, make it your thing, and obviously, with that meaning behind it. And I'd like to recommend that when you're setting your goals, you think as if it's happened already, as if you have it now, as if you've got it. If it's the car example, as if you're driving your car at the moment, as if you've got that new job that you were after, as if you're living in your flat. And it's very important, personally, for me, that my goal is in accordance with my values. What's important to me about achieving that goal? That's key. Think about it. That takes us then to the R, which, can be a tricky one sometimes because, make it realistic, right? So, guys, what's realistic to you may not be realistic to me, okay? So make sure it's realistic to you. And my recommendation, suggestion is that don't hold back whatever it is that you want to achieve. Come on, let's just make your imagination fly. Let's just go for it. Why not? And also, apart from being realistic, which, as I said, obviously one thing can be realistic to you and one thing can be realistic to me, and in the end it's only what is to you. The rest at this point doesn't matter from a realistic perspective. It's also important that your objective is responsible. Responsible because when you achieve that, or in the process of achieving it, it's going to be impacting your environment. It's going to be impacting your family in a good or a bad way. That's why it's important to consider it. It's going to be impacting your partner and the environment around you. And make sure that you use it to make sure it's right for you, okay? That objective, that goal, that outcome is right for you. And then finally, we go for the T, which, as we said, is for obviously time bound. And that is crucial, because if you don't put a time in your calendar or in your mind or write it down somewhere, then you don't tend to focus as much. At least that's my experience. So I usually like to just put it in 6 months time or in a year's time, and then I've got my mindset that I'm going to achieve it. And then it helps me not to deviate from my goal, my purpose, that important thing, that meaningful thing that I want to achieve. And that could be changing my job, starting my business. It can be, well, as I said, this lady wanted to buy a new car, whatever it might be for you, moving to your new flat. When you're stating your objective, your goal, make sure it's positive as well and towards what you want. And what do I mean by this? When you're thinking about it, what's going to make you feel better? Thinking about being in that new place, being in that new role, making that amount of money, being with the person you love, or actually putting yourself in this situation where you are at the moment where you don't want to be, thinking, okay, I would like to leave my parents' house, for example, or I would like to leave my job. I wouldn't like to be with the person I am. I wouldn't like to be lonely. Think about what you would like to achieve, not where you are at the moment, and take full control over it. Give me one sec. So that's SMART goals for you. In my own way, in the way I tend to utilize it, to use it for myself. Try and see how it works for you. Pick whatever you thought it was good and go and do it, go and use it, apply it to your life. And then say we have got that goal set, and for instance this lady, let's just go back to the example of the car. She wanted to buy that red car, she had the maker and all the details, and obviously the amount of money she was going to be saving, and that makes sense for her, and it's realistic, and it's obviously it's going to help her. It's responsible because it's going to help her and her family to do more things together and to drive her children to work, and then the time is just by December next year, for example. That was at that point. And I should actually check on her and see whether she got the car in the end. So you have got that in place. So how are you going to go about it? How are you going to get there? How are you going to achieve it? Okay, going back to it. And as I said, I'm quite simple and practical again. And I have a tool that a good colleague, a coach and a good colleague of mine recommended, and it's called the 135. And I think it's 135 planning framework. And I say I think because, as I said, I grab these tools and adapt them to me. So the way I've been using it is become 1, most of the time 3, and every now and then 4, 2, instead of 5. And I explain to you what I mean by this. It's very simple. So the 1 is the objective, the goal, that thing you want to achieve. So you have already set that, going through the SMART process, and say it is to, by December 2019, I see myself in my new role. For example, say you wanted to get a new job. I see myself in my new role and I'm making this amount of money and I'm very happy. It feels great. I see the relationship with my boss and my work colleagues working out wonderfully. I hear obviously peace in the environment and it's wonderful. You see, you're using all your senses to put yourself in that position. And to get there, I've done this, this and that. For example, I had to apply for loads of jobs, etc. And that could be a very long objective or goal. So we break it down a bit. So say you see yourself in your new role by December 2019. And that's number 1. That's the one in the 135 planning framework. Then number 2, number 1, then step number 2 in this case, you have got the 3. So those are the strategies. How are you going to get there? So if you see yourself achieving that new job or landing that dream job, then what do you do to get to it? So what's the strategy, the how? So for instance, you had to apply for a certain amount of jobs. The other one, you had to look into your skills and maybe just gain some more knowledge and improve them. And 3, say you took some further training, and whatever it is that you think you need, your how. How am I going to get there? So I got my main objective, which is to find my new job, and then 3 steps, or it can be 2, because potentially with 2 strategies or even the 1 strategy that works for you, you get there. Say all you need to do is more interviews, for example, and that's it. And then under each one of those 3 strategies, if we're following the 1-3-5, you're gonna get to the actions. So what do you need to do? What are you going to be carrying out under each one of those 3 strategies? And a great example, changing a little bit from the finding the job, is say you want to buy a new flat. So you have got your 3 strategies. The one could be, just to give another example, the first one could be you start looking at banks just to see the loans they're offering. Then you may be considering the second strategy to get a loan from your parents or even your family. And the third strategy to get to your new flat can be, I need to start saving money or maybe increase my income. So that'll give you some other things to think about. So you have got the 3 strategies, and then under each one of them, then you start putting the actions. If I'm going to be looking at banks, what do I need to do? Am I going to be holding interviews with the different banks, looking online, looking at the different rates? There you go, you have got some actions. There can be 5, there can be more than 5, there could be 3, there could be 2. Then you go into the next one, which is potentially speaking to your parents, putting a plan together to go and present it to them or your family, for example. And then the third strategy, which was to increase your income, what are you going to do? Are you going to be thinking about setting a new business ideas, work in partnership with somebody, start, I don't know, teaching Spanish? That could be something I could do, even though I don't trust my Spanish that much. But hey, just example. So there you go. You have got one, you have got the objective at the top, the one, the 3 strategies, and then 5 actions per strategy. And what I usually do, I just carry that even in my phone. I take a screenshot and I have it, and every now and then I look at it just to make sure I'm on track. What's crucial about it and so important, that it gives you focus. So say somebody else comes with an idea, because I love ideas, and yeah, come on, and all of a sudden I just go chasing them. Yeah, let's go and do that. One sec, guys. So if I have a plan, I can actually look at my plan and say, well, you know what, I'm focusing on this is what I would really like to achieve, and I guess we will have to park that idea, or you carry on your own. It's not to say that you're not going to consider them, but having a plan and all of this structure in place will allow you to stay focused, stay on track, more than if you didn't have it. What do you think? And all this said, I hope you enjoyed it. You enjoyed this video. And my own way of approaching SMART goals and the 1-3-5, which again can become the 1-1-1. It's up to you really. However it works for you. Make sure you take what's best and make it work. And yeah, start working on it. Start living the life you deserve and want, as I usually say. And there was something else I wanted to share with you before I go. Right. Finally, I got my 3-step blueprint to removing limiting beliefs, and it's ready, and I've launched it today. So what I will do after this video, I will be sharing it on a link, and I would like to hear feedback on the topic as well. And because I believe it will help you, speaking about beliefs and limiting beliefs, it will help you removing all that baggage, all that, as I like to call it, the burden that's been holding you back, that's been keeping you from where you would like to be. So give it a try, download it, and let me know how it goes. Well, I'm sorry if I was a bit distracting with the tea, which I actually really love since I've been living in the UK. There you go, I'm going off the tangent now. It was a pleasure talking to all of you. Wish you a lovely day and speak to you soon. Time to go, and wish you great success. Bye-bye.